Welcome to the Grow Your Practice podcast. Hi, I'm your host, Chad Madden, owner of Madden Physical Therapy and Breakthrough. Join me each week as we dive into the best practices, systems, principles, tips, and tricks to help you grow your private practice. Hi, Chad Madden here with the Grow Your Practice podcast, and I want to walk you through a brand new tool. Very excited about this. You're likely seeing this for the first time, but it's the Practice Growth Calculator. And as you know, you've heard me talk about this many times. We're looking at our practice growth. We want to, follow that 20-mile march. And you likely have heard me talk about this in the past, but the industry average for practice growth in physical therapy is 6.2%. And if we're thinking about value in our practice or how valuable it is in the marketplace, well, that's a direct reflection of our relative growth to that industry average. So obviously all this is pre-pandemic numbers. And as we're emerging from the pandemic, you've heard me talk about not only our private practice here at Madden and Gilbert Physical Therapy, but hundreds of other owners are now back on track for 20% year-over-year growth, even all things considered with the pandemic. Now, maybe you're in an area like, Kirkland, Washington, or another area that has been hit and has immense restrictions when you get this. So it definitely maybe or maybe not timely, but nonetheless, I think we can get back to thinking about and forecasting growth. Now, where's the 20% growth year over year come from? It comes from Good to Great by Jim Collins, where he tells the story, 1911, 2 expeditions set off for the South Pole. Team A, I believe it was Ernest Shackleton. They traveled towards the South Pole. They're well trained, they're disciplined. Fair weather or bad weather, they aim for 20 miles a day. So regardless of what the weather's like, they aim for those 20 miles a day. However, the other team that is traveling on that same exact expedition, they are traveling based on weather. So if it's a fair weather day and the weather is good, they try to go 30 or 40 miles. When the weather is bad, they hunker down and they don't move at all. So one team makes it to the South Pole, Team A, the 20-mile march. The other one, they unfortunately die. They are late getting to the South Pole. I think they're behind by about 37 days, if I remember the story right. And they all meet their demise on the return trip home. They perish. So Jim Collins and his group, when they were writing the Good to Great story, they noticed the consistent year-over-year growth that these companies that had performed their peers, their colleagues by 10x, that they were growing at about 20% year-over-year consistently. So we aim for that same thing. And you've have heard me talk about this, but for me personally, in my private practice in 2018, we took our numbers and then we forecasted ahead growth for the next 10 years. And at the time, when we looked at year 10, we were like, wow, this is absolutely amazing. And I think it's up to like 45 million in revenue. And that blows my mind. And, have to have 200 clinicians and all of the other things that we look for in that forecast. But what it encouraged us to do was look back and say, okay, what do we need to do in order to achieve this next year's growth? And that is the practice that we've implemented here at Madden PT. It's in line with traction and scaling up and any other business book that you're looking at. But I want to show you how to use this tool. So the first thing that you're going to do here is you're going to enter your new patients for the last 12 months. So let's say, I don't know the size of your clinic. You can obviously go to this tool. We'll provide the URL here. Click on the tool, and we're going to walk through this. So let's say it's 100 new patients a month is what you're seeing. 1,200. How many full-time PTs? Let's say it's 6 PTs or full-time clinicians, PTs plus PTAs. Per year, we're doing 15,000 visits right now. Let's say in the last 12 months. Our expense Well, our revenue per visit is, let's say it's $100, industry average, and our expense to provide that service is $120,000 a month. So that would be 1.2 million per year. Okay, so results in about a 20% profit margin or EBITDA. And by the way, you can, if you have multiple clinics, you can do it either for your whole group or break it down per clinic. Quick tip, we do both. And then you select your annual growth. So uh, most practice owners that we talk with are between 5 and 10. I just shared the story of 3 owners that I met with last Friday that have already superseded the 20 to 30% year over year growth. I know our goal that we set in 2018 for monthly and weekly patient visits, we've also, by the end of 2021, we've already exceeded that, and recording this in May, so 7 or 8 months ahead of time. But then you can see the forecast out at least for the next 3 years. So let's say it's 10%, a little bit above industry average. Let's say it's that 20%, right? So a year from now, we're going to be at 1,440 new patients per year. That's roughly 120 new patients per month. So we're looking at 100. Now we're going to 120. So with our marketing, this may be you if you're involved in the marketing, or if you have a marketing team, you say, okay, so over the next year, how can we ramp up from 100 to 120 new patients per month? And quick tip, because I'm a math nerd, it's about 4.7% increase per quarter. So 100, and then we go up to about 105, right? And then 110, and then 115 every quarter. And we're looking at that run rate per month, right? That's how you think through. But you start asking yourself, is there other media that we could own here? Are there other maybe physician referrals? If that's still part of your game, are there physicians that we need to update and begin marketing to, or is there a new campaign we can start running? Can we add a rotator cuff workshop into the mix, or can we create strategic partners within our community to help us acquire those additional 20 new patients per month over the course of the next year? Visits, we went from 15,000, right? 15,000 total patient visits per year, which, challenge me in math, 1,000, was it 1,250? Yeah, I believe it's 1,250 visits per month, right? And now we're talking about 18,000, which is 1,500 visits per month, right? So we're going to pick up an additional 250 visits. To me, that screams we're probably hiring another PT and having them trained, right? So that's something else that needs to happen, right? Do we have adequate space for that? You start to ask yourself better business questions when you forecast ahead. Again, almost every single business book, whether it's Traction, Scaling Up by Vern Harnish, Good to Great, they talk about this forecasting and to some degree business planning, right? So our revenue is looking, actually that did not, our revenue did not change. Okay, so we have to fix this in the tool, but that should go up by 20%. So we should be about 1.8 million. Expenses are going to go up accordingly as well. Yep, 20%. Hopefully it's not that high. Typically you get a little more profit margin, a little more strategic. It's called economy of scale. So as we grow our costs relative to visits that we provide, they should shrink a little bit, at least a percentage point or two, but nonetheless expenses. And then our EBITDA is not 60,000 as it says here on the screen. It's actually 360,000, right? So we go from 300,000 to 360. That makes sense. Year 2, 1728. We're now up to 21,600 visits per year. Our EBITDA grows to 432. And then 3 years from now, you'd be at 2,074 new patients, right? So we went from 120 to, what would that be? Add 20%, 144, add 20% to that, 28 and 144, 25 and 144 is really challenging me here. 169, 170, right? About 170 new patients per month. We're up over 2,000 visits per month now in year 3, and you can see our EBITDA now has grown to 518 and change there. So just something to think about. When you work through a tool like this, it's going to help you grow and plan, because you're going to be asking yourselves better business questions. And again, I always go to the 3 pillars. So personnel, if we were seeing 2,074 new patients per year right now, if we went from 100 new patients per month to 170, who do we need on the team? How do we do that? How are we going to accomplish that, right? That's a huge initiative. We have a huge thrust in marketing. How can we attract an extra 70 new patients per month over the next 3 years, right? We're probably going to need marketing strategies for our referral sources in the area, marketing strategies for our past patient list, level that up, marketing strategies for direct to consumer, right? And then the final one is finance. Do we need to buy additional equipment, additional space? Are we opening an additional clinic? What does that look like, right? And we want to make sure that everything remains sound there. So anyhow, this is a tool very similar to what we use here. It's based on exactly what we use here at Madden and Gilbert Physical Therapy in my own private practice. I hope this helps you plan forward a better future for your private practice so you can impact your area better and continue to grow stably with a firm foundation so that you can serve people, help people in pain get back to normal naturally. Hope this helps you on your private practice journey. Thank you. This is Chad Madden with the Grow Your Practice podcast. I'll see you in the next episode. Remember to visit getbreakthrough.com to access our free resource library designed specifically for private practice growth. While you're there, make sure you register for a complimentary growth assessment to learn about potential opportunities for growth in your local market. Again, thank you for tuning into the Grow Your Practice podcast and supporting our mission to help people in pain get back to normal naturally.